What's up, y'all? It's your boy Kaloda Ninja, and I'm wondering why nobody cares about Dragon Ball Daima, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. As you guys probably know, in I believe it was either February or January, winter of 2024, we had Dragon Ball Daima announced, which is the most recent or the forthcoming Dragon Ball series that we got going on here, and I'm super excited about it. I really wasn't at first, but I think as time has gone on and with the passing of Akira Toriyama, I feel like this is the perfect time to reinvent Dragon Ball for not just the younger generation, but for us to have something new to appreciate. But nobody seems to care. Nobody really seems to care. And I'm curious as to why that is. And so I kind of came up with a couple of different theories. So the first one that I'm thinking is the negative reaction to it looking like Dragon Ball GT, and maybe not looking like Dragon Ball GT necessarily, but the idea of Goku being a kid again, using the power pole, everybody else around him kind of becoming kids, some of them becoming babies. I don't necessarily know how I feel about it, but I have full and complete trust in what Toriyama Sensei's vision was, and that whatever he thought it was going to be, I think it's going to be good. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I don't think that's the consensus among Dragon Ball fans, mostly because of the, like I said, the aforementioned similarities to Dragon Ball GT, which, depending on where you stand, is either a very good thing or probably a reason just to not watch it at all. Now, I think the real Dragon Ball fans, I don't like that term at all, but I think most of the people who are really locked in on Dragon Ball are going to watch it either way. So, like, it's not going to really make a difference, but I can completely understand why, because of the history of Dragon Ball GT, and kind of leading into point number 2, it's not Super. And for better or worse, whatever you feel about Dragon Ball Super, it was a very successful sequel, and it was a home run that the Dragon Ball franchise was looking for GT to be. But as most of you know, the manga continued and the anime did not, and a lot of people are still waiting on that, and a lot of that brings a lot of confusion to the casual going audience of, okay, Super's finished now. Is there not a completion, but the manga's still going on? But this Dragon Ball Daima is clearly not related. And I think the confusion that's created amongst the general fan or the more casual fans is probably the reason that it's not being talked about, or just the confusion in general around it is probably a reason for people to stay away. Like, what? It's not a sequel to Super? That's kind of weird. Thought Super was coming back. There's Super movies, there's a Super manga, but instead there's Goku and Vegeta as kids again. So, I also don't think that it probably doesn't help that the trailers weren't very informative. They probably they have left us with way more questions than answers. But I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing if you're somebody like me who honestly usually forgoes trailers for the most part, just so I could be super surprised or completely in the dark when I start a series or a movie. And I don't think that's everybody. Clearly not. I mean, look at the numbers that the trailers have done. But I do think that's another part. And lastly, I think a lot of the fandom's attention right now is diverted to the Sparking Zero release. Should I know mine's is, to be honest. Like, I feel like the announcement of that and the announcement of Dragon Ball Daima kinda, I wouldn't necessarily say conflict, but with all the information that Namco Bandai is releasing about Sparking Zero, like slowly drip feeding us all the goodness of the characters, the animations, the graphics, everything about that is like, hell, to be honest, I think with the fandom we have and the nostalgia baiting that they're doing for the Tenkaichi series, they could not show us anything at all, we would still get it. But I think that the timing of that kind of coincides negatively with everything that Daima probably needs right now. And again, it's a Dragon Ball series. Like, I imagine that it's going to do well. I'm not somebody who's paying attention to the ratings or the numbers as they'll be coming out. Well, actually, I probably will be, just for the sake of continuity and keeping up with what I'm saying here. But I think that what is going to happen is that a lot of people are going to look at the numbers and the ratings and be like, it's not going to look well off of the rip. I don't think the numbers that Dragon Ball Super produced in its first season are going to be the numbers that Daima are going to be producing. And yeah, there's plenty of factors into that when you consider the advertising and everything that had gone on for Super, featuring Battle of Gods, Resurrection F. All those things play into even the manga that was out beforehand. Like, all those things play into advertising for Super that I don't think Daima's gonna have. And I feel like I kind of forgoed the point, or neglected the point of sparking Zero. I don't know that it's a huge factor, but I do think that the fact that the game that everybody has almost the largest amount of nostalgia for in Tenkaichi 3 and the Tenkaichi series finally getting a sequel after almost 20 years. I think that's the nostalgia baiting that people are looking for, and maybe not necessarily what they're gonna get from Daima. But I'm curious to what you guys think. I'm excited for it. I'll be covering it as it's coming out, both Sparking Zero and Daima, and I'm super excited to have the conversation with everybody else and see what they think on why they don't think that it's going to be as popular. Because for everything that I've said in this video, I think it's going to be very good. The late Toriyama's involvement with it really kind of makes me feel like, okay, this is something that has legs under it. And obviously with the passing of Toriyama, it's kind of hard for us to really say what it's going to look like as far as like what his vision would have fully looked like with him there. But I do think that his more hands-on approach to this as opposed to Super is going to be something that it benefits in the long run. I think we're going to get a lot of silly, goofy Toriyama stuff that's going to be beautifully animated, because this has been in production for years, and I think this is really a labor of love and less of a product to sell. And if you know me, you know I have my thoughts on Super, and that I feel like it's very much just been a product that has to have been sold, and that was more financially viable than it was a good Dragon Ball story. And I will definitely have my videos where I talk about that, but for right now I kind of just wanted to tap on why I feel like nobody's talking about Daima, and I'm excited for it, and I hope you guys are too. And if you're not, tell me why. Alright, your boy Khalil the Ninja, and I am out. Peace.